Hello there, my name's Carlo. Welcome to another tutorial. This is going to be a very cool 3ds Max tutorial where we're going to be looking at cloth simulation. So let's have a look. So I've got a simple setup here. What we have is just a standard plane, and we have a big green ball, and this is the effect we're looking for. So if I drag my timeline, I'll play it in slow-mo. Bosh. As you can see, that's a rather cool cloth simulation. So if we look very carefully, we've got the creases in the cloth, all in real time, using the power of 3ds Max's physics engine. Okay, so this doesn't require anything like V-Ray and stuff like that, so it's quite an easy thing to do. A lot of guys probably think this looks quite hard to do, but I want to show you the easiest way to do that. So I am going to start off with a new setup, and then I'm going to click on plane and come up here and just make a plane like that. Okay, so obviously within a cloth material, you're gonna need, this is one basic segment. At the moment we've got length of segments here, widths both 4. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna give the length 100, and we're gonna give the width 100. This is just basically gonna give the physics to the cloth and basically help it move, or help make the creases, shall I say. Okay, so we're going to come on our full screen. We're going to right click on move, and then all we're going to do is we're going to select our cloth, and just we're going to drag our cloth up there, like so. Okay, so now we need a point of origin, we need a contact point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 2 different examples of contact points, and what the different contacts will do when it comes into contact with a cloth. So first of all, let's do a sphere, make it sort of about that big, and then we're just going to zoom out there. Okay, so with our plane selected, we're going to select our modifier, come down and select cloth, which is right there. So now we've got our cloth selected, we are going to have to do some modifications to this cloth. So obviously we've got our plane here, and we're going to select here cloth, and then we're going to select our material to a nice satin. So for satin, all your settings will come up here for that certain material, and all we're going to have to do is add the point of interest. So we're going to click on add object, and then we're going to select our sphere here. I'm going to select OK, and with our sphere selected, we're just going to create our collision object points. So what we need to do is we need to click on our plane and just make sure our cloth selected, click on our sphere, and make sure our collision point is selected when we go through both like that. So we've got our cloth and we've got our collision point selected there. Keep all the settings default, there's no need to change it, and just whack OK. So now we're going to have to simulate it. So we're just going to click on simulate, and let it simulate the movement. I'll leave it running in real time so you can see what exactly is going on. And I won't pause it. So slowly, basically what it's doing is simulating the movement of the cloth and get it ready for the impact on our destination point, which is our sphere. Now watch what happens when it hits the sphere. It's about to hit the sphere now. So now it's created using the physics. A material. When you set up your plane, like we did with our segments, we added it for a width 100, we added our length for 100. You don't want to go more than 100 on that, because it's going to make it too soft, so it's going to look like, if you're doing liquids, then that'll be okay, because it will make it look liquefied. Okay, so the simulation is complete. So as you can see, when our cloth comes down, it hits the ball quite nicely. So if we zoom into that, move into position, when it hits the ball, it creates very nice material effect, like so. Okay, so let's try something a little bit different, and I want to show you what I mean. So I want to create a new project for this, and I don't want to save that. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up to our 4-point, and then we're going to create another plane, and I want to show you the difference between the two. Now, because obviously I've set up my lengths and segments, by default it will set it up itself, so we don't have to do that again, which is good. Select on our perspective mode, right click and click on move, and let's just bring our plane back up, and this time we are going to make a box instead, like so. So we've got a box now, like this. So now we're going to select our plane, and we're going to do some modifications like we did before. So we're going to go to cloth, object properties, and we've got our plane here. We want to make a cloth, and this time we're going to change it to a silk. So obviously the silk settings are going to be different because it's a different material, and then we're going to add our box instead of the sphere. So as before, we're going to select our box and make sure our collision object is selected, and make sure our plane is our cloth with our silk, and then we're just going to whack OK. Now watch what happens when we simulate. Watch what happens when this comes in contact with a box. Here we go. Let's try to simulate it now. You see what's happened there? If you look carefully here, there's a material look there, and the reason why it's done that is because the box has sharp corners, so it's basically cut away at the box. So that's the reason why when you use a box, you have to make sure that the corners are actually rounded. So let's cancel that and go back up and look at it very carefully. As you can see, if you look there, it's tried to simulate it here, but obviously where it's real-time physics, it's looked at the corners as a sharp edge, so it's cut sort of right through it. So let's try it with a real-world object. So we're going to go to new. Right, it's going to be a lot easier. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so let's come up to our 4 points and then select this one. Then we're going to go to our thing. We're going to get a plane. We're going to make a plane over the top of it, like so. Then we're going to do our segments 100, and we're going to do our widths 100, like so. And then we're going to select on our plane. Click on move. Raise it up to about there, and then with our box selected, we're going to go to our modifier, list cloth, and then we're going to do our object properties again. So we've got our plane now. For there we have our BMW, and then we're going to make sure our plane is selected to cloth, change it to silk, and then we're going to make sure our BMW is our collision point. Click OK. Let's put this in full screen for you guys so you can see it, what happens, and then we're just going to click on simulate. Now watch what happens. Watch what happens when the cloth hits the car. So it should hit the car any second now. So it's hit the roof, and it should mould in, but with anything with sharp corners it's going to cut into it, because it is using real world physics, shall I say. It should cut into the wing mirrors here. And as you can see, it's gone over quite nicely. So this is more of an in-depth example of how you can actually create your cloths within 3ds Max. Or create a cloth simulation, shall I say. Okay, I'll wait until now. I won't render the whole thing out because obviously that's time consuming. Okay, so let's just cancel it there. And as you can see, as it makes contact with the car, it's going to dig out anything that's got a corner. See, it's done it to the headlights there. Sorry, the wing mirrors, because it is real world physics, like so. But what I normally do is, if you create, you know, this in green and your point of contact in green, you can throw it into After Effects, and you can create some stunning using green screen. Let me go to my, find it on my desktop if I can. You can create some stuff like this. Yeah, so you can sort of create some really cool effects like that. So I've got my circle, which was my sphere. It was all green with the green cloth. I just done some key light through the picture on top. Bosh. Done. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you guys again for the next tutorial.